It was late at night and Rob Cohen stood at the side of the road as multiple police cruisers whizzed by. For the past 2 hours, he had watched on as a community of drivers illegally drag raced their souped-up Japanese imports. 2 cars at a time would line up next to each other, offering the simplest of propositions: cross the finish line first and take home the money. At the drop of an arm, they'd speed down the dusty Los Angeles streets at speeds of upwards of 180 miles an hour. Of course, none of this was sanctioned. The arrival of the police abruptly ended the race and sent thousands of horsepower scattering through the city trying to get away. But the whole experience left Cohen buzzing. As an anthropology major at Harvard, he felt like he had discovered a secret world. But as a movie producer and director, he felt like he discovered his next project. Cohen was only there because a young exec at Universal handed him a copy of the latest Vibe magazine. He told him there was a story in there he might be interested in. After Cohen read the article Racer X about an underground world of street racing in New York City, he couldn't stop thinking about its potential. He had to see it for himself. So, his friend and auto journalist, RJ de Vera, brought him here. The experience left him hooked. He knew he had a story. The only question was, could he sell it? Who started modern urban street racing, and why did they love imported cars? Are cars cool enough to be the stars of a movie franchise? Why didn't the original script for The Fast and the Furious make the cut? And how much Vin Diesel is enough Vin Diesel? Today on Past Gas, the first chapter in our 2-part series on the wild and true story behind the Fast and Furious franchise.
Past Gas Podcast. It's about cars, it's not about sports.
Big thanks to Philo for sponsoring this episode of Past Gas. Sign up today at philo.tv, that's philo.tv, and use promo code GAS to get 50% off your first month.
Yeah, boy.
Overnight pots from Japan.
Yeah, overnight. I have that thing, I can't concentrate. ADD? Yes, that shit.
Vin Diesel just posted on his Instagram, "We got to get Brittany Griner back before Christmas."
Oh, good.
I do feel like Vin Diesel has a certain Steven Seagal quality about him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where he could see himself as an emissary to other foreign nations.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do think Vin Diesel is cooler than Steven Seagal
Way
and probably
cooler.
less of an asshole and douchebag.
Well, Steven Seagal was the result of a bet by a producer with his friend that he bet his friend that he could make the dumbest idiot into a huge star.
I believe it.
What?
There's so much to talk about, and you guys are talking about Steven Seagal. He's not even in
Sorry,
these
he's
movies.
not even related. I'm just saying, I got sidetracked.
doing,
You're
guys?
right. You're right.
Come on,
All
we're talking
right,
about
hey,
International
welcome to
politics and Steven Seagal.
it's a movie. It's tangentially related. Okay. Welcome to Past Gas.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Finally.
The intro of the show.
Sorry for
Hello.
having fun bants.
Yeah. My name is Nolan Sykes. I'm joined as always by my co-host. We got Joe Weber sitting across
What's
from
up,
me.
Slime Nation? Full on offensive against Minnesota and James Pumphrey this week.
Whoa,
Okay?
Lord.
whoa. Okay, settle that. Let's take a breath, everybody. Okay, that's nice. James, hello.
Hi, Nolan.
How you doing?
I was doing great until Joe declared all-out war against me.
Oh,
and
I'm
a
sorry.
state
Maybe,
where my family lives.
Yeah, I guess I should have made an Instagram account called Joe Weber Hates James's Family.
Yeah, speaking of Instagram accounts, I want to give a shout out to the whole community of Minnesota Hates Joe Weber Instagram. We are now at 121 followers.
Wow.
Strong.
Yeah, strong.
I do.
Well, 121. That's almost as many lakes as they have in Minnesota.
Oh.
You know what, man? This week I felt kind of bad for not naming it Joe Weber Hates Minnesota because that's like a little bit less negative towards my friend. Like I was like, man, I shouldn't have said Minnesota hates Joe Weber. I don't want anyone to hate Joe Weber. But I do. I want everyone to hate you.
Jesus.
I hate you.
All right, guys, let's.
I don't hate you. I love you, Joe.
That's right. Okay.
Joe and I have been friends for longer
Long
than
time.
anyone else at Donut.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, Joe and I have known each other since we were wee lads.
Yeah, I
We
saw
little
the first
comedy
time I saw
lads.
James, he was dressed like a sailor, but like a cool sailor.
And that was just
It
a
was
Wednesday.
on Halloween. Just so everyone knows Halloween.
So yeah, this week we're covering a topic that we've covered many times on the regular channel, on the YouTube channel, but never in the podcast. We're talking about the Fast and Furious franchise.
The reason a lot of us like cars, and I'll go as far as to say the reason we have a lot of the cars in America that we do. I think the Fast and the Furious is one of the reasons that Subaru decided to bring the WRX over here. I think it's one of the reasons that Ford started making cool Focuses for us.
That's true. Yeah, it's impact on pop culture and the car.
I think it's one of the reasons we had
Very wide-reaching.
the Evo.
Definitely, and the continued production of the 350Z, perhaps the GTR for sure.
For sure.
Huge inspiration for our channel, and a lot of our content comes from it.
Yeah, it's
And
why we all wear tank tops and wear chain. Well, actually, a lot of you guys do wear chains.
Yeah.
what's her name? Michelle Rodriguez
Mm-hmm.
has a stipulation in her contract that she has to wear a black beater for more than 50% of the movie.
Really?
Yes.
You mean a black
Tank top. Black tank top.
a black non-binary partner lover.
Yes. All right. Let's get into our story here. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. And hey, we're doing a two-parter, something we haven't done in a little while.
Very excited.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, this movie is hugely impactful to car enthusiasts our age. One of the reasons that Donut works is because this series came out and was so popular. They're not great cinema,
No.
but that's one of the things that makes them so cool. And there's a great story behind them.
There are, I think, 3 good ones, like truly good movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the same accountant as Paul Walker, and his brother came to my birthday party one time.
That's true. I remember that.
So this
That was
one's
cool.
real close to my heart.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Okay. The 80s sometimes seemed like they were America's teenage years. They were filled with poor choices, awkward haircuts, and way too much time spent at shopping malls. The early 90s were a different... What? Oh. The early 90s were a direct reaction to that. In an effort to forget all the pastels and vapid consumerism of the prior decade, the 90s spawned many cultural coping mechanisms. Among them were grunge music, The Simpsons, and thrill-seeking sports, like urban drag racing, also known as street racing. Not that street racing didn't exist before. It just never existed like this. This wasn't a bunch of middle-class Steve McQueen wannabes in American-made muscle cars, nor was it 2 Beverly Hills attorneys pulling up to the red light and a couple of Italian supercars. Our friend Anders ran from the police in a Ferrari. His dad.
His dad he was a kid in the passenger seat.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, his dad was drunk as hell.
You guys are narcs.
I mean, it's part of his stand-up that he does.
Okay.
This was a working class and multicultural community of car racing maniacs known as the import scene.
Hot import nights.
Hot import nights. I was asked to host hot import nights in Australia
That's kind of cool.
Like a while ago, right?
a long time ago. Oh, there was a wet T-shirt contest that I would have to judge, and I was like, I don't really want to do that. And they're like, all right, well, you need to, mate. We'll find someone else.
There's just a bunch of guys in tank tops.
Yeah.
Like a windshield fluid.
The import scene was started by a large group of young Asian American car enthusiasts in Southern California. They'd take light, well-crafted, and modestly priced Japanese cars and spend thousands of dollars upgrading, usually adding various performance parts like superchargers or turbochargers, exhausts, intakes, racing tires, and the most important mod of all, spoilers.
Spoilers.
For most, modifying the car was a process that took a long time. A racer would string together a couple of victories, make some cash, and then use it for the next upgrade. And no performance part was more coveted and effective than nitrous oxide. Also known as NOS, it dates all the way back to World War II, when it was used to increase the speed and power of airplane engines by cooling the air entering the engine and increasing the amount of oxygen in the intake charge. It allows for a greater amount of fuel to be converted to energy.
And energy is what we're looking for,
Yeah,
baby.
Mo energy, baby.
Yeah, you guys can't see it right now, but we are dapping hard.
We're doing the gritty, all of us.
Yeah, really well.
To the outside observer, the import scene might seem like a dangerous and illegal hobby whose main focus is to make quick money and show off their car. But for the drivers and their teams, it was something much more substantial than that. It was a tight-knit community of people with the same interests. Despite the fierce competition, the drivers were commonly more friends than foes.
Yeah, they were family.
They were family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
While it started within the Asian American community, in SoCal, cities like Torrance and Gardena, places with large Japanese immigrant populations, the culture quickly spread. Anybody with a lead foot and some cash could participate. For an inclusive and diverse community to form on the streets organically in the early 1990s is noteworthy. From industrial areas to back roads, these races would meet up in parking lots late at night and then head to an infamous second location, like Railroad Street in Sylmar, to go fast. There's also the Compton Speedway.
Compton Speedway
That's
is
a famous one.
labeled Compton Speedway
find
on
it
Google Maps. And if you look at pictures of it on Google Maps, it's like a prepped racetrack.
It's people like narking themselves out.
Yeah,
on Google.
The picture on Google is a guy with
Prepping
a torch
it. Yeah.
prepping the starting line.
Also, over in like Bakersfield, people will go to like the farm roads in the middle of orchards. That's pretty sick too.
Yeah.
Seen videos of that.
I feel like so many movies open up with people racing through orchards.
Oh yeah. Well, orchards, a lot of straight roads, Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that.
I don't. I thought it was a lot of curvies.
Yeah.
Jim Leah, a Formula Drift driver and former street racer, gave Auto Week a quote that sums it up pretty well.
I think it started out being young Asian Americans to begin with, but I think it changed very quickly. And even among Asian Americans, there's so many different nationalities and backgrounds. The diversity was actually quite wide. It showed in the makeup of the whole scene. The surprising part, I would say the nice part about the roots of import car culture, and even today in our drifting world, is that it's always been very, very inclusive.
I mean, dude, you go to a Formula Drift event and it's just like everybody's there. You know, it's the net is so
Leon,
wide.
Chris.
Yeah.
Evan,
Paul.
Daniel, all
Yeah.
these dudes, they're there.
Contrast that to other professional sporting events, professional motorsports events, which shall go unnamed. It's like way more diverse drifting.
Yeah. Tractor pulls.
The most
Super
exclusive
different.
race out there. I mean, you do. I don't know anyone who has a tractor.
No, I don't know anybody. I probably do. You probably do.
Who?
I don't know. You're from Wisconsin.
Leon?
Jeremiah probably has a tractor.
Leon? Daniel? Paul?
Jeremiah has a tractor, guaranteed.
No way.
I bet. At his parents' house for sure. Dude, the other day, Jeremiah was like, I think I might bring my Harley F-150 out here.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? You have you.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of stuff.
Jeremiah is so cool. When the popularity of the import scene moved east to New York, it started to garner attention from the media. In 1996, Auto Week wrote that in places like Washington Heights and Hell's Kitchen, young people were starting to block off traffic to set up a makeshift drag strip, often a mile long. They'd routinely hit speeds up to 180 miles per hour on popular city streets and leave before law enforcement arrived. Or at least that was the goal. Sometimes they'd get unlucky and people would go to jail.
180 seems pretty high.
180,
That's really
there's
fast.
not a lot of cars on this list that will go 180.
Yeah. Even if you have like the craziest
180
four banger, that's
fast.
so fast.
Especially in a mile.
Yeah. Wait a minute. No, there's no way.
There's no way.
Maybe like one guy.
Maybe one guy went 180.
Yeah. That's so
It was
fast.
Jimmy's friend who ran
He ran
a
a
116 in a single cam
I bet more
Honda.
like
Yeah.
Hayabusas went that fast than.
Probably.
Oh,
Than
that's a good
Civics.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to redact that 180. In 1998, a New York-based journalist named Ken Lee was commissioned to write an article about a car theft ring. While out investigating the ring, he accidentally stumbled upon an underground culture he had no idea even existed. Now, I'm driving up the street, see? And it's lined with these really tuned and tricked out and mostly Japanese cars, see? Slammed to the ground with all these tattooed stickers and stuff. I'd grown up in New York City my entire life. I can't find a good bagel anywhere. And I had never seen these kind of cars before. It was like I discovered some sort of secret new underworld I never knew existed, see? It's cool that we got that audio.
Yeah. Full stop.
Lee's interest in the car thefts quickly pivoted to street racing culture. After all, car theft in New York had been going on for decades, but street racing was more specific to this moment in time. So he pitched it to Vibe magazine, a publication dedicated to street and hip-hop culture. They immediately approved it. The piece was called Racer X and followed a veteran New York street racer named Rafael Estevez. It describes in enthralling detail what it's like to experience the import scene, its eccentric characters, and their really cool cars.
I had to read it one time for a Up to Speed episode like years ago, and it holds up. It's definitely worth checking out.
For sure.
Checking out.
Yeah, guys, resubscribe to Vibe.
You can find it online in PDF form.
I prefer the printed word. The article was a national hit, the topic of many conversations around the office water cooler, or in our case, the bevy.
The bevy machine.
Did you see Racer X?
Have you seen Racer X? I'm going with peach mango. Lee's article eventually found its way to the desks of Hollywood producers, a group of people who are known to scour the papers for stories like truffle pigs in a damp forest.
Well, they might have been back then. These days, it's like, hey, what IP do we have floating around?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what needs a reboot? Willow.
They're making a series, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad that, what's that actor's name?
Warwick Davis.
Yeah, I'm glad that Warwick Davis is getting work.
Yeah, that's true.
He's back in his role as Willow.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He's back, dude.
I loved Willow when I was a kid. I had Willow action figures.
I just watched Harry Potter 4 last night, and he was great in it. He has got a goofy haircut.
We love a goofy haircut. Big thank you to our sponsor, PIA. Did you know your internet service provider knows literally everything you do online? It's true. You might as well be handing your laptop to a stranger and opening up your browsing history. That's why having a VPN is an absolute must-have every time you go online. I want to tell you about one of the best VPNs out there, and easily one of the most affordable ones I've seen, PIA. PIA stands for Private Internet Access, and they take privacy seriously. Not only does PIA hide your IP address, it encrypts your entire connection. This protects your internet activity from everyone, your internet service provider, network admins, or any hackers out there just itching to steal your most sensitive information. I use a VPN on my machines. I value privacy. The only person who has the right to know what I'm doing is me. And a VPN like PIA can help protect your privacy. Right now, go to piavpn.com/gas to get a whopping 82% off your VPN service, plus 4 free months with a 2-year plan. It comes out to around $2 a month. You really can't beat that. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's piavpn.com/gas for 82% off private internet access. piavpn.com/passgas. Thank you, PIA.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Unfortunately, life doesn't come with a user manual, like your Nissan Sentra does. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent. That's why therapy is so important. Just having someone to talk to is super valuable. I highly recommend it. It's for everyone, and I think BetterHelp is one of the best ways to get into therapy if you're new to it. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online, plus it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. If I don't have to go to a waiting room, I love that. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/passgas. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/passgas.
Only a few weeks after the release of his article, Lee started receiving bids to option his story into a movie. If the import scene that Lee wrote about was a secret underworld, then it wouldn't stay secret for very long. It was about to become known in households all over the world as the inspiration for one of the biggest franchises in American cinematic history, The Fast and the Furious.
But wasn't it a movie in like the 60s too?
We'll get there.
When Rob Cohen finished reading Vibe's Racer X article, he immediately called a friend to talk about it. Cohen had been producing and directing movies in Hollywood for years. He had a knack for exciting action, having directed films like Daylight.
I love Daylight.
With Sylvester Stallone. Really?
Is that the tunnel one?
Daylight's awesome, yeah.
Never seen
that's
that.
a great movie. Dude, that movie's like such a movie. You know what I mean? Like it's so like
high concept.
Well, like just like the set. Like there's always like water running stuff. It's like going to like Universal. It's like a Universal.
I love that
and
kind of
there's
movie.
just that ominous, like the tunnel's filling up with water the whole movie. He's got to dive and go to other places and stuff. It just puts you on edge the whole time.
I'll check this out. He also made a little movie called Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, but he wanted some more insight from a friend/producer best known for his ability to reach the teen market. He called Neil H. Moritz, known for the 90s flagship films like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Cruel Intentions.
I love Ryan Phillippe. I'm a Phillippe head.
Big time, dude.
He's
I'm a Filipino. You say Filipino, I say Phillippe. Yes, please.
Yes. He's great in MacGruber.
MacGruber.
Oh,
That's what I was
he
gonna
has
say.
one of the funniest lines in MacGruber.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to somebody who was in that movie or worked on that movie. I don't know if it's improvised or not, but like it's just such a throwaway line. He like comes, he's at MacGruber's house, and he comes out of the bathroom and he just goes, "MacGruber, your toilet is disgusting." And like they don't acknowledge it, they just move on. But it's so funny. It's such a funny moment. It's my favorite joke in any movie. Well, MacGruber, your toilet is disgusting. It just adds so much to like MacGruber's character.
Neil Moritz was ecstatic when Rob Cohen called because he too had also read Racer X.
I read it too.
That article in Vibe magazine. They both had the same exact vision: a thrilling, action-packed car racing movie that would get teenagers to go to the theaters in droves. And you do that by casting Vin Diesel. Cohen and Moritz agreed to team up and purchase the rights from Lee for a 6-figure payout, a little payday on top of the Vibe.
Pretty low.
Looking back at it now, that's not a great deal.
Once Cohen and Moritz had the rights for the movie, the pair reached out to Hollow Man screenwriter. Remember that movie with
you
Kevin
see his,
Bacon?
You see his invisible dong.
Yeah. The screenwriter for that movie, Gary Scott Thompson. Thompson was considered an up-and-coming writer and also had knowledge of the import scene. In college, he would watch his neighbors wrenching on their cars, and apparently that qualified him enough. Apparently that was enough to be qualified.
You're pretty greasy, right? Better get that lava soap.
Cohen, Moritz, and Thompson worked tirelessly to find an angle to their story that worked. They regularly attended illegal street races, searching for inspiration and specifics. Urban drag racing sounds like an event at the Gravity Games, now that I think about it.
Oh, yeah.
We're like street luge.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's coming back.
It's coming back, dude.
I just put a lot of money into it.
Put a lot of money in luge coin.
Yeah.
Much of what they saw wound up on pages of the script. There was one night where Thompson went out to San Pedro and was inspired by how diverse these racers were. This experience is what influenced the first big street racing scene of the first movie. The first script they wrote was called, rather predictably, Racer X. It was a gritty New York-based romance action movie described as Romeo and Juliet with cars. That's how you get the kids in seats, man.
Dude, yeah. Also, that's how I describe my life.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, all the cars talked in the first version, and they had big lips, and then they would kiss.
All the characters were immoral anti-heroes, nihilists fed up with the freaking system, man. Gen X, baby. They got new coat.
It was a bunch of Tiernans.
It was very on brand for the 90s. The movie originally ended with a big set piece in a warehouse where the pensive teenagers would dramatically shoot at each other until everyone was dead. And of course, they were surrounded by cool cars. Universal loved it, and they gave it the green light. That movie sounds, just what I'm picturing right now, it sounds kind of bad.
No, yeah, until they die. That sounds sick.
Yeah, maybe.
But then you can't do sequels.
Man in the Box by Alice in Chains over the title sequence. Everyone's wearing flannels. They're like, this system sucks, man. They're making new Coke now. I don't like this capitalist system. Let's race our cars.
Yeah. Have you heard about this thing called the internet?
Yeah, you can. My girlfriend lives in Canada.
All right. I'm glad they didn't make that version.
Yeah. Anyway, Almost immediately afterwards, in the spring of 1998, the Columbine High School massacre shocked the country. It was one of America's first major mass shootings and was covered by the media around the clock. And as you can probably guess, Universal knew that announcing a movie where teenagers engage in gun battles right after Columbine might be a bad idea. Racer X, the movie that was Romeo and Juliet with cars, was done. I did not know that. That's a wild turn of events.
Cohen and Moritz weren't deterred. They knew they had something special and decided to go back to the proverbial drawing board, a.k.a. whatever people used to write things down in the 90s. They changed the name of the film to Redline, hoping to invoke an emotional connection from car lovers. But they still needed a story.
Well, change the title. That's enough work for one day.
Step one, title pretty. You good? You good?
Should we do lunch?
You want to go to Musso and Frank's? Or Spago? Polo Lounge? These are all fancy restaurants for 90s Los Angeles. Cohen realized that in order to sell an action movie aimed at teenagers, they should model their script after an action movie that was popular with teenagers. The film they landed on was a retelling of Point Break. In Hollywood, this is considered innovation.
Hey, you take a little scoop of this, you put a scoop of that in there, boom, new movie.
It's Point Break with cars.
Look, instead of shooting each other, why doesn't he just yell and shoot into the sky?
I never knocked on nobody. Point Break, starring Keanu Reeves and the late, great Patrick Swayze, R.I.P. for sure, is about an undercover law enforcement agent who infiltrates an underground network of thieves led by a charismatic yet troubled alpha male type. In Redline, instead of the thieves being laid-back surfers, they'd be laid-back street racers. And instead of robbing banks, the thieves would rob 18-wheeler big rigs stocked with expensive products
like
TVs and DVD players.
VHS players.
Yeah, TVs with DVD players in them.
That are 13 inches big.
Yeah, it's just like such a hard thing to like.
It hasn't aged well.
Even if it was like new electronics, it's like, okay, we got all this product. Now we're Best Buy. Like we have to run an electronics company now. Like it should have been Brinks trucks or something. But the 18-wheeler stuff, really good decision. It's so sick. So sick. Cohen and Moritz didn't really care that they were repackaging a story people had seen before. They were betting that the star of the film would be the cars. And that would be enough to sell tickets.
That's what we're here to talk about, baby cars.
This white Jetta's going to be the star.
Yeah. They pitched it to Universal again. And again, Universal loved it, bought it, and greenlit it. However, they had a few issues with the script. First, Redline wasn't a catchy enough title. And second, they didn't think the script featured enough white people.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a huge problem with movies.
Yeah.
Just in general. I think it's white people are not represented in film.
I'm always watching movies and being like, where's the white guy?
Where's the white guy?
That's why I only watch historical reenactments, because only white people did stuff in history.
Yeah. In the 90s, Hollywood was much more blatant about its racism. Universal wanted the two leads in the movie to be Marshall Mathers, a.k.a. Slim Shady, a.k.a. Eminem.
Whoa.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I love Paul Walker, but
kind of siding with Universal on this.
for sure. Dude, oh man, what a missed opportunity. So they wanted the two leads in the movie to be Eminem and Timothy Olyphant.
I love Timothy Olyphant.
Dude, I love Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah.
Justified, one of the best TV shows.
I auditioned for Justified.
What?
Yeah, to be like the deputy, like his friend, the dopey one.
Oh, nice.
I got pretty far.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. But now I'm here with you.
Yeah, but Justified's canceled.
Yeah. So am I. This is my last podcast. Dude, we should make that movie
this would
with,
still work.
with Eminem and
Redline, starring...
Yeah.
They also wanted writer David Ayer, who had just sold his fantastic LA crime film Training Day?
Yeah, dude. David Ayer is like an amazing writer.
This would have been the best movie ever.
This would have been really good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I love Fast and Furious, but it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
This would have been amazing.
I think, okay, here's my take. I think this would have been a much better movie, but it would have been like a one and done. Or
Okay,
maybe
I'm
2
fine with
movies.
I'm totally fine.
I don't
with it.
need 10 Fast and Furious movies. I can't tell 7 of them
David
apart.
Ayer is responsible for End of Watch, Suicide Squad,
The good one or
Training
the bad
Day,
one?
The one that came in 2016. He did Fury. He also wrote Sabotage, which was not good. He did the original SWAT from 2013.
Whoa.
SWAT was good.
And Fast and Furious. U571? He did a sub movie?
Dude, this movie would have effed. Speaking of Back to Daylight, speaking of holding your breath, U571's got some holding your breath
Yes.
scenes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This would have
Dude,
been
this would have been so good. Cohen would direct, and Moritz was to be the main executive producer.
Wow, man. Dang.
What could have been?
Unfortunately, Eminem and Timmy both had to back out. Mathers was set to play the undercover cop, Brian O'Connor, but he was too busy making 8 Mile, which, by the way, is a great movie.
That's a great movie.
And it holds up. I watched it twice in one day.
What?
Over Christmas break.
That's an insane thing to do.
Yeah, I watched it, and then I ate lunch, and I was like, I'll just watch it again. It's so good.
I love McKee Pfeiffer in that.
Yeah, McKee Pfeiffer's great. Brittany Murphy's amazing in it.
That's an insane thing to do.
It's not insane. It's weird. It's not insane. It's a weird day. And Timothy Oliphant, who was supposed to play the gang leader, Dominic Toretto, had signed on to be in a different car movie, Gone in 60 Seconds, and didn't want to pigeonhole himself.
You know,
Maybe
fair.
his name would have been Toretti because he would have been of Italian-American descent
Yeah.
instead of Puerto Rican descent.
Oh, maybe.
It's possible that if he had done 2 car movies, maybe he doesn't get cast in Justified as Waylon Gibbons. So.
Wow, we're just butterfly in effect this whole...
Yeah, this whole world.
Waylon
My
Gibbons.
favorite line from Timothy Oliphant's best line in Gone in 60 Seconds is during the final chase scene, one of the cops' cars gets hit by a wrecking ball, and he goes up to the cop and he goes, "Are you okay? Because, you know, you just went through a wall."
Oh, he's so good. I gotta watch the Crazies now. He's so good in the Crazies too.
Like Point Break, it was imperative that this yet-to-be-titled film have attractive young actors who could bring the cool factor. That's why we hired Nolan.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Cohen had recently directed the movie The Skulls and worked
Love The
with a
Skulls.
young, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Paul Walker.
Check out The Skulls, dude.
Check out The
I
Skulls.
watched that last year.
It's got Pacey in it.
It's so good.
Pacey from Dawson's Creek.
It's got everybody from everything.
Yeah, it's based on a secret society at Yale
Yeah.
that George W. Bush was a part of. And
Oh,
apparently,
Skull and Bones?
Yeah,
Oh.
you got to jerk off in front of your dad.
Oh, no. No, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's... Wait, so George Bush did it in front of George Bush?
Yeah, and like everyone else in the thing. And like that's like a thing that's like, all right, now you've done that. You can't betray any of us because we've seen you jerk off in front of your dad. And we'll tell everybody. But
God.
someone told.
We just told everybody.
I'm in Skull and Bones. I went to Yale.
Gotcha. Okay.
Take that out.
Oh, shit. Great movie. Check it out.
Yeah, it's not.
There's
great.
no
It's not a
jerk-
great movie. It's okay.
pretty good,
It's
dude.
fine.
It's pretty good.
It's of the time.
Of the time, it's pretty good. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
There's no jerking off in it.
No. While Walker wasn't a household name yet, his face was one that many teenagers were already familiar with. He had found a niche in the teenage movie market with key roles in She's All That, Varsity Blues, and The Skulls.
He's a very handsome guy.
Very handsome guy. Playing football at West Canyon High School may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life. Plus, Walker already loved cars and had recently asked his agent to find him an undercover detective role. They had their Brian O'Connor.
That's an insane ask.
Is that how that works? Like, you had an agent for a little while, right? Could you be like, I want to play
For a
this
long
kind of
while.
character, or is it the other way where they bring you roles?
Well, it's the other way. They bring
Yeah.
new roles. But I think if you're more successful than I was,
Mhm.
you get to be a bigger part of the conversation.
Sure. Okay.
More than one time, I've been cast as blank hipster.
Mm.
So in Two Broke Girls, I was drunk hipster.
Mhm.
And something else, I was like frat hipster.
Gotcha.
And I think it's just the way that I dressed.
Did you ever have a type party?
A type party?
Me and my actor friends would do this. You all just kind of go around and you get everyone's opinion on like what your type is and what kind of roles you should be going out for.
Yeah.
It helped me like realize like that I'm just a dumb guy.
I got cast as
should be going out for dumb guy roles.
I got cast as dumb guys a lot. And in one movie, it was about two brothers, and I was like the co-star. I played like the got it together brother.
Oh,
and the other one was like the dumb one.
Yeah.
And like I had fun like shooting it or whatever, but like I was so jealous that I couldn't be the dumb one, and it was like just so boring.
The dumb one's always fun, way more fun to play.
The dumb one's so much more fun.
Yeah.
Like you get to do like all the dumb stuff, and like, like you get to overfill the Slurpee or whatever, and then like the whole time I was playing like the got it together straight man brother, like I felt like I was just like.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you're having fun? Anyway, being dumb is way more fun.
Yeah.
However, Walker had never carried a film by himself before. He wanted somebody who had carried a film to play the Toretto role. Moritz pitched Vin Diesel, a tough-looking up-and-coming actor. Diesel had memorable roles in Saving Private Ryan and Boiler Room, where he had hair and it's really
I don't know
funny
about
looking.
if he's that memorable in Saving.
He's
is
good in that.
He's
dude.
like a
Dude,
little-
he's so
he
good
gets
in that. He gets shot.
Like early
it's
on.
so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay,
good
that is
death.
somewhat memorable.
Yeah, great.
Steven
death.
Spielberg
Yeah.
asked for him
Oh, that's right. He's
specifically.
like, and he's like, give this to my dad.
Give this my mom.
So it's got
He gets-
got
yeah,
some
sniped.
sauce on it, but she'll understand.
It's got some Sunday gravy all over it.
I'm sorry, Vin Diesel. I haven't seen Boiler Room.
Boiler
Is that
Room is
good?
great. Dude, if you like skulls, you'll love Boiler Room.
Okay, I'll check that out.
It's basically the donut story. And he had recently starred in a surprise hit science fiction movie called Pitch Black.
Pitch Black was
Great,
sick.
actual great movie.
Hell
Another
yeah,
great
dude.
franchise.
Yeah. After this surprising success, Diesel was a highly sought after actor with a lot of offers on the table. He initially wasn't interested in the role until a conversation with his agent changed his mind. Now they had their Dom Toretto.
The agent just like draws a dollar sign
Yeah,
on a
he's
piece of paper. Look, Dom, I think you should reconsider this.
After bringing Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster in to play the leads' love interests, it was time to change the name. Universal and Cohen wanted something with a little bit more personality, something to match the tone. After some research into old B movies, Cohen found what he was looking for. There was a 1954 Roger Corman film about car racing called The Fast and the Furious.
No kidding.
Universal bought the rights, and they had their title.
Roger Corman.
I have a sweatshirt. It's an NHRA like Nationals sweatshirt, and it's from like 1997 before The Fast and the Furious, and it says The Fast and the Furious.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, I have a lot of really cool clothes.
This dude's still alive. He's 96.
That's so cool.
That's so cool. That's so old.
That's so old.
So old.
With a budget of $38 million, Fast and the Furious began shooting in August of 2000. Universal had pretty modest expectations for the movie and believed they could turn a profit, but not much else. After all, there weren't any massive stars attached to drive people to the box office. There were only cars to drive people to the box office.
Nice. Bazinga.
It wasn't until they started to look at the dailies, which is raw, unedited footage from a day's filming, that they realized that they may have something more. From the dailies, it was clear that Cohen's vision to make Cars the star of the film was working. The cars were stunning, thanks to a technical advisor on the movie named Craig Lieberman.
Yeah, shouts to Craig Lieberman. He has a YouTube channel. He talks a lot about the Fast and Furious cars. It's very interesting.
A lot
if you
of
want to learn more
insight.
about any of the vehicles in any of those movies, check it out.
Yes. Lieberman was a major influence on which cars got screen time because he was an aficionado and owned many street racing imports. Some of the cars were even used in the film. Lieberman was given a car budget of $2 million.
Wow.
Oh, man, you know what I do? $2 million. Oh, man.
What do cars cost? We got to buy 4 cars. How about $2 million?
Yeah. So he curated a whole fleet of really cool cars. He also stayed true to the import scene by making sure that the cars were foreign made.
Except for that lightning.
Yeah, baby. That's my favorite one.
What's your
One of my-
favorite car in the whole movie?
No. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites, though.
Oh, for sure.
I love it. Some of the cars in the first film include a souped-up 1995 lime green Mitsubishi Eclipse, a 94 Mark IV Supra, a 93 Mazda RX-7.
That's my favorite.
A 99 Nissan Skyline, and a 99 Nissan Maxima driven by the villain of the film.
He's not a villain.
Vince?
Vince isn't the villain of the film.
He's an antagonist.
He's an antagonist protagonist.
He's a jerk.
He's a jerk, but he's part of the team. He's the
It's
good guy.
funny that he's a jerk and drives a Maxima.
I know, but he's not the villain.
Yeah, that's right.
The villain.
Is Vin Diesel.
No. There is no villain.
No, there is a villain.
The cops.
No.
Who's the villain?
The gang on the street bikes.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
tuna sandwich.
Sorry. James's favorite car, the 95 Volkswagen Jetta that would eventually be bought by Frankie Muniz.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The Supra, Maxima, and Skyline were all from Lieberman's personal collection.
That's such a flex by Frankie. To
But
buy
man-
the worst car in the movie.
Yeah. Automatic 2-liter Mark III Jetta.
The lone exception to the imports-only rule was a classic American muscle car, a 1970 Dodge Charger that Dom Toretto has sitting in his garage. That's my favorite car.
Oh, for
Of the
sure.
movie,
Yeah,
for
that's a good one.
In the movie, he's never driven it because it was his father's car. This was a classic foreshadowing plot device. Chekhov's Charger. Show a car in the first act and drive it in the third. I actually did, long story short, I was in an acting class for a little while, and I did a reading of that scene.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
like an
Because
exercise.
Please tell me
okay,
someone
so
taped
like
it.
when someone starts being on camera at Donut and becomes like a host, I make them take improv classes. And Nolan went to sign up for an improv class and accidentally signed up for a method acting class
Yeah.
and was like, all right.
I did it for like 2 months. It was great.
Yeah.
Along with the improv class, but I did the acting class and was like, it's pretty fun.
Dude, he stayed in character the whole time. He was like Jared Leto. He sent me a rat via FedEx.
Yeah.
We missed it. We didn't call it out, but Letty drives an S14. 240.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't get a lot of screen time.
The coolest cars don't.
Yeah.
The R32 is super cool. Sorry, pizza pan. Gotta go the different way.
What?
sorry, pizza man. Gotta go a different way.
Sorry, pizza
You know,
man.
Billy Bob Thornton was in Fast and Furious.
Hey, sorry, pizza man. You gotta go a different way. You know that line?
Yeah. After seeing how exciting the cars were in the dailies, Universal adjusted its marketing plan and release date. It was now going to be released in the summer of 2001 during the prime blockbuster season. With a heightened national profile, the pressure was on for Moritz and Cohen to deliver. Yet after months of filming and crashing 73 different cars, The Fast and the Furious was finally finished. Critical reviews of the film were mixed. It scored a 53% on the newly launched Rotten Tomatoes and a 58 on Metacritic. General audiences, however, disagreed with the critics, man. The critics. The film opened in 2,900 different theaters nationwide and made over $40 million its opening weekend alone. Made that money back, baby.
Yeah.
$40 million, baby.
By the end of its
I
run in
love
theaters,
$40 million.
Oh yeah, that'd be so great right now.
Dude, I love it. I love it. I love $40 million.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. By the end of its run in theaters, The Fast and the Furious would gross over $200 million.
Oh, I like $200 million
Yeah.
more than $40 million, though.
The good people at Universal were thrilled. They had more than just a one-off moneymaker and immediately began to throw the word sequel around. Hey, sequel.
Someone say sequel?
Sequel.
Someone say-
Sequel? Someone say sequel?
Hey, are you just throwing that word around?
Me and Andy, you guys might remember Andy from, he guest hosted when Joe was out of town. We have an idea for a sequel with no movie.
We're just supposed to like know all this information.
Yeah. There's like no character development or anything, but it's animated
Yeah.
and it takes place in the ocean, and it's called the Sequel. SEA.
Isn't that like a Chipmunks movie?
No, that's the Squeakquel.
Oh.
That's where we.
Oh, you can't speak any more about it because you stole Chipmunks' idea.
No, I can't speak any more about it, so you don't steal it.
Big thanks to Philo for sponsoring this episode of Pass Gas. This podcast is brought to you by Philo. Philo is live and on-demand TV for just $25 a month. Philo has VH1, BET, A&E, AMC, plus more than 60 other channels like Comedy Central, Nickelodeon, Paramount, and Discovery. There's no contracts, there's no commitments, there's no hassles, just a better way to watch TV. Plus, Philo has an unlimited DVR for 1 year. Philo allows for multiple profiles and multiple streams. You don't have to kick your little brother off when you want to watch Dexter's Laboratory or Dexter. I love watching TV, but I don't like paying that cable bill. I like to be a little bit more selective with my TV, which is why I like Philo. I get only the channels that I want, and it's only $25 a month, which is a steal. That's why I like Philo. Sign up today at philo.tv. That's philo.tv and use promo code GAS to get 50% off your first month.
At the time, sequels in Hollywood were notoriously difficult to pull off, especially when the lineup changes. And for the second film in the Fast and Furious franchise, both Vin Diesel and director Rob Cohen were out. Cohen was hired to direct a movie called Triple X about a secret agent and adrenaline junkie who'd basically win every event at X Games. It's the most Mountain Dew movie ever.
He drives a senator's Corvette off a bridge and jumps out.
Yeah.
I live for this shit.
He's got a GTO with missiles in the headlights.
Dude, I know so many lines from these movies. I'm really
He wears a big fur coat.
he wears that big fur coat.
Yeah. That's right. There's a Rammstein concert.
Yeah. Whoa.
Hell yeah.
I love these movies.
Dude, I would see Rammstein.
Yeah.
I want to go see Rammstein in Berlin.
That'd be cool.
Oh, when I search for a Triple X movie, it says,
Yeah.
it puts the
Don't do that. Vin Diesel joined him as the lead of the movie, despite being offered $25 million.
Whoa.
To play Toretto
Jeez,
again.
that would have been a big payday for a young man.
Yeah.
Could have bought a house.
Diesel told Variety magazine that he didn't do the sequel because he didn't like the script, which was, dude, it was written by John
Singleton.
It was written by John Singleton, who wrote Boys in the Hood. It's a great script. It's the best Fast and Furious script in the whole franchise.
Ricky.
Diesel said,
They didn't take a Francis Ford Coppola approach to it. They approached it like they did sequels in the 80s and 90s, when they would drum up a new story unrelated for...
That's not how he talks.
They didn't take a
Same voice.
They didn't take a Francis...
I'm talking like the Mucinex cartoon.
Yeah, they were taking over this time.
It's more just bass and less growl.
They didn't...
It's not Rocky.
They didn't take a Francis Ford Coppola approach to it. They approached it like they did sequels in the 80s and 90s, when they would drum up a new story unrelated for the most part and slap the same name on it.
Okay, so I guess he wanted more of a saga.
He's stuck to his principles so much that he...
But he also made Triple X.
I know, that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
How much did he get paid for that, I wonder?
Losing a lead and a director posed a pretty big challenge for Universal. However, a fan of the first film decided to step in and help. Director John Singleton, whose masterpiece Boys in the Hood made him the first black director to win the Oscar for Best Director. And he loved the first Fast and Furious movie. Singleton, which is the opposite of an Oscar. Singleton said he was jealous that he wasn't involved in the first film since he grew up in South Central LA watching street races. So when he heard that the sequel needed a director, he leapt at the opportunity. With Singleton on board and Paul Walker coming back, Universal wanted a few big names to replace Diesel. They added Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, and Eva Mendes to the cast. Despite Universal's initial belief that the cast wasn't white enough, Moritz kept moving in the opposite direction. He was making it more multicultural and diverse, mirroring the real culture that they were emulating. This would eventually prove to be one of the biggest contributors to the success of the saga in the future. Universal also managed to retain Lieberman as a technical advisor. His car knowledge helped give the production an air of authenticity in the racing community. Plus, borrowing some of Lieberman's cars was way easier on the budget. That's what we do at Donut.
I think in the future it'd be great to be like some sort of consultant or advisor on a car movie.
Oh, it'd be so sick.
Yeah.
Dude, consultants, that's the best job.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, here's my opinion. And
Yeah,
you gotta pay me.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The sequel, cheekily titled Too Fast, Too Furious, would be written by then unknown writing partners Michael Brandt and Derek Haas. It had a much more substantial budget of $76 million and a shiny new location perfect for showing off the car's paint jobs, a little place that I like to call Miami, Florida.
Ooh, yeah. So those guys all would go under Right 310 to Yuma. Pretty good Western.
And also a million Chicago shows. Chicago Justice, Chicago PD, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire. That's all the departments.
Chicago's this week on Chicago Sanitation.
Yeah.
We got to get this garbage in the truck.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to focus on the garbage when my son's on heroin?
Hey, do you want an Italian beef? We got spicy or sweet.
No, I'm eating this really, 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 really thin pizza that I got at the tavern.
Hey, I don't know if we're actually from Chicago.
Hey, why are we talking like this? Hey.
Give me a hot dog, run it through the garden.
Shout out Mr. J's, dude. Great Italian beef.
The basic plot of the sequel follows Paul Walker's character, Brian O'Connor, as an ex-cop living in Miami who makes money through illegal street racing. He's busted by the cops, and his former boss, who now works for the FBI, gives him a deal to go undercover and bring down a drug kingpin. Singleton wanted it to have more of a Top Gun feel instead of Point Break, but they still use the same basic formula as the first film. Build an action movie around street racing culture and litter the film with cool cars and hot young people.
No, baby.
There is one, I think it's Fast 9, where they go to like the rich evil guy's mansion, and there's like 280 scantily clad women just dancing in the driveway.
Yeah, they rented my house for that.
It's like, why? Who are these women, and why are they outside?
They're my employees.
They're my associates. Okay.
Oh, they were like, you were the consultant, and you were like, yeah, you can use my house.
They drove by my house and they saw that happening, and they were like, "Hey, can we like shoot a movie here?" And I was like, "Sure."
Damn, dude.
Damn, dude. They're all my sisters. The cars were definitely cool, and overall, there were over 240 of them. Lieberman's Nissan Skyline was back as Brian O'Connor's main car, as well as a 2002 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 7, which at the time was not available in the United States. Also featured was probably, in my opinion, probably the worst car in the whole franchise.
This is Tyrese's car,
Yeah,
right?
Tyrese's car. A 2001 Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider.
I think I ranked that as my least favorite car on that list.
The worst car in the whole franchise.
This is when he races backwards at like
Paul Walker's in the Evo.
Yeah,
and he races backwards. Both high and low car RWRXs give real Too Fast, Too Furious vibes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
The movie was released on June 6th, 2003, and the reviews were not good. It was panned for being cliche, having a derivative storyline, and wooden acting. But Hollywood doesn't make movies for good reviews. In fact, critics can go suck a big old turd because, like, what even is your job?
My opinion is my job. The same token, we're talking about how cool consultants are.
Consultants are cool
because they're valued for the opinion.
Yeah, if you don't have to make things for a living, but if your job is like panning things that other people make, you're a dork.
At least consultants are like constructive.
Yeah, consultants are constructive. Critics are professional Redditors. Yeah, so they don't make movies for good reviews. They make them for profits, a.k.a. money, honey. And by that metric, Too Fast, Too Furious was a success. It made over $50 million on its opening weekend, making it the top movie in the country. And it beat out that year's juggernaut, Finding Nemo.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. You, Dory. It would go on to gross over $236 million worldwide. Collectively, the two films had made a total of $443 million in the box office with a profit of $329 million.
That'll build a pretty big executive office.
It'll build a pretty big little vacation spot, if you know what I mean.
I put a helicopter landing pad on my yacht.
Universal Studios had basically accomplished the Hollywood version of buying a cheap plot of land only to discover that it's saturated in priceless, yummy, yucky crude oil. It paid off, and the Fast and the Furious was going to get an upgrade to franchise.
Ooh.
Nice.
Now this is where Justin Lin takes over. And
Yeah.
this is when things get interesting.
Ooh.
I've been to his office.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what was it like?
Really nice.
Cool. Cool.
Way nicer than ours. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, nicer than our concrete bunker offices?
Yeah.
No art?
Yeah.
One thing that most big-time movie franchises have in common is they're usually character-driven. The audience develops a connection with relatable characters and follows their arc over the course of several movies. Fans learn all about the actors who play
Harry
those
Potter.
characters. Yeah. And the actor...
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skinwalker.
The actor and character are kind of abstractly bonded
Movie
together.
franchise, Luke Skinwalker.
Fans learn all about the actors
Han
who
Solo.
play characters.
Han Solo, Draco, Malfoy,
And actor and character are kind of abstractly
Princess
bonded
Leia.
together.
Snape.
Darth Sidious.
Because of this, it would be advantageous
You got
for...
Niall Longbottom.
Niall.
Because of this, it'd be advantageous for an ascending franchise to keep the same characters,
Lucius Malfoy.
played by the same actors. But Fast and Furious wasn't going to follow through that dusty old roadmap. No. Instead, it grabbed the wheel and made a hard left turn with no turn signal. And it came as a shock to the fans sitting in the back seat. No more Paul Walker and his sun-kissed feathery hair. Gone were most of the writers, the director, and even the curator of the cool cars, Greg
Oh.
Lieberman. Almost the entire cast and crew were completely overhauled after just 2 movies. The idea was not only to grow the universe of the Fast and Furious, but also its audience. And there was no better place to tap into an international car culture audience than Japan. So the next movie was going to take place in Tokyo. I mean, also, that's a very generous,
That's a very generous, yeah.
read. They didn't care about growing the Fast and Furious universe. That they just didn't want to pay.
They didn't want to
Yeah.
pay the actors.
They didn't
what
wanna
should have
pay
paid the
Paul
actors.
enough.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's why the other actors didn't do the second movie.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't pay him enough, and
Yeah.
Paul cared about the franchise enough to like keep growing it.
Yeah.
But then for the third movie, they were just like, F you guys.
I think when I was talking to Cody, when we did the
Yeah,
Up to Speed
Cody
on Paul
is
Walker,
Paul's brother.
talked to Cody Walker about it, and I think Paul even negotiated, like, sure, he was asking a fair price because he carried the first 2 movies.
Mhm.
He's the star.
Yeah.
It's like his face attached to the franchise, but then they kind of, he negotiated downward to keep the role and say like, hey, like, keep me in this. I care about this a lot.
Yeah.
But it was still too much for Universal. They were really
Wow.
Yeah, I
hoarding
mean,
the
this
money.
is a perfect, like, this is just not caring about the value of people.
right.
Yeah.
It's just like we have this name. Let's make another movie.
Yeah.
Let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, that would be like if you went to Donut's YouTube and there were just like 5 new dudes.
Yeah. Hey, you know these guys.
Don't do it, Recurrent.
That's Wrench and Rob.
None of the old guys had weird nicknames.
Well, they're trying to expand the universe.
Hi, I'm Jim. I'm Noah.
Yeah, Jim,
Noah. Zeke. Dustin.
Zeke Jeeb.
Zeke Jeeb, Dustin. And Jeremiah Stays.
Yeah. He negotiated down.
Yeah, he negotiated down.
To capture the nuances of the foreign racing culture, it was decided they would move away from drag racing and instead focus on a driving technique you might know as drifting. Drifting was developed in Japan by Kunimitsu Takahashi in the 1960s. If you're somehow unfamiliar with drifting,
If you've had your eyes closed for the past 20 years.
drifting is basically when a car is intentionally oversteered while navigating a sharp corner. It looks sick as hell. While it loses traction, the driver can maintain control because the rear slip angle is greater than the front slip angle. It's freaking sick.
Yeah, it's sick.
Anyway, as I mentioned, Moritz also decided to bring on board both a new writer and new director. Chris Morgan was a young writer whose first script, Cellular,
Ugh.
got him some attention in the industry. Is that the one with the phone booth? No, that's
Yeah.
phone booth.
Well, it's a phone. There's a phone in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the movie with the photo.
So he was hired. Moritz also recently taken notice of a young director named Justin Lin. After seeing Lin's Better Luck Tomorrow,
Dude,
a film
so good.
sick.
Better Luck Tomorrow is so good.
A film about a group of high-achieving East Asian high school students who turn to crime, he was asked to direct. Yeah, definitely check out Better Luck Tomorrow.
Sung Kang is in Better Luck Tomorrow, and his character's name is Han. And Justin Lin has confirmed that Better Luck Tomorrow, he's the same Han.
Whoa.
Oh, really?
So it's Fast and Furious canon.
Doesn't he have some play on Han Solo?
Maybe. Like, that's what Han was doing in high school.
That's sick.
Oh.
That's cool as hell. Lin, who knew nothing about street racing, had seen the first Fast and Furious in film school and was drawn to the excitement it brought to a sold-out theater. Quote, "What really excited me about directing this film was the chance to harness the energy of the crowd, create a whole new chapter, and up the ante by bringing something new to the table for the audience who loves action and speed." Quote, "The final piece to add was the lead, 24-year-old actor, Lucas Black,
He's the one with the forehead.
yeah, who had starred in Sling Blade and Friday Night Lights, was brought in to play the lead. As for the plot of the movie..."
Friday Night Lights, the movie, not the TV show.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was like, I don't remember him. Yeah, you're a big time Friday Night Lights.
I've probably watched Friday Night Lights in its entirety 7 times.
Wow, damn.
Damn. I've never seen it once.
Yeah. Really?
Is there
Maybe.
like a wife that drinks wine all the time?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Right.
Tammy Taylor.
As for the plot of the movie, it didn't really break any molds. A young 20-something named Sean Boswell, played by Black, loves to race cars, and after getting into some trouble, he's sent to Japan to live with his father, who's a Navy officer. He learns how to drift and gets in some trouble, racing against members of the Yakuza gang.
And he befriends a young Bow Wow in his Hulk
car.
fist car.
There was initial concern that so much change could hurt viewership. But from the beginning, the bet had always been that the stars are the cars, right? That's what the people will come to see. And the cars in Tokyo Drift continued to be cool as hell. In fact, these cars would end up being the fastest and most expensive cars of the first 3 films, according to a test run by Sport Compact Car magazine. Mazda RX-7 was
Veilside
Veilside.
Mazda RX-7.
Black and orange livery.
Originally, it was like, I think, silver.
Oh, black and orange is so sick.
Yeah, but I bet it would look so much cooler in silver.
It would look more something like you'd want to actually be seen in.
Mhm.
Yeah. But the orange is like, I think, pretty iconic movie-wise.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, look at High Car. Look at my phone. This is the most memorable phone case. Of all time.
That is pretty sick. But to add some variety, there's also a 1971 Chevy Monte Carlo in the opening scene. I love that car.
Yeah.
There's also the Viper that the
Yeah.
jock drives.
Driven by the older brother from Home Improvement.
Oh.
Really?
And a stunning 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback with the
RB26 in
RB26.
Oh,
That's
Zachary
right.
Ty Bryan. That's right.
Yeah.
The youngest brother in Home Improvement came to my birthday party last year. Mark.
What?
Mark. Wow.
You guys are so connected. If a person liked looking at cars, they'd like looking at this movie.
Nice. Nice.
With the eyeballs.
You know,
But perhaps there just weren't as many people willing to go to a
there's
movie
also
theater.
an Evo in it.
Yeah, the red
That was
one.
like the hero car that he like learned to drift in, which is like
Yeah,
a
that
very
makes
strange
sense.
decision.
But
because it's
I
all
like
about
that car a lot.
It's a cool car, but
yeah. It doesn't make sense.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Also, the S15 Sylvia Mona
Yeah.
Lisa.
Oh yeah, the blue and orange one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that thing's cool. And the Drift King's car, it's like silver.
Oh, he drives a 350.
Yeah, sorry, he has a 370 Fairlake.
That's
That
a
thing's
350.
350. Sorry, yeah, that thing is really cool
It
too.
is cool.
The Drift King is in this movie as the army brats learning how to drift on the docks.
Oh,
And he's a
Kaiichi
fisherman.
Tsuchiya.
Yeah.
He makes a cameo and
Yeah.
he just goes. "Bah."
Yeah.
Like he gives a disproving
Yeah.
shake of the
Yeah.
head.
It's pretty sick.
But you know who's not in it? Eminem. And who else is not in it? Timothy Oliphant.
No, but Lucas Black kind of does look like a great value young Oliphant.
No, he
doesn't at all.
Not at all.
They don't look. Look, he's got a big forehead, but
They
like
look like they're from like the same
yes,
coal mine town.
yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But Timothy
okay.
Oliphant is a stud.
He's a hot. Yeah,
Our producer Christina.
she went.
Agreed.
She went.
Mm. She's drooling right now.
She goes, I want all of Fan.
No,
I don't just want a piece of Fan. I want all of Fan.
He is a good-looking dude for sure. But perhaps there just weren't as many people willing to go to the movie theater for Cars as they thought, because despite the expansion of the universe and the exploration of drifting and all the other excuses they used to not pay Paul Walker, the movie didn't do very well. It was panned by critics, and compared to the first two movies, the audiences mostly stayed away.
Like, where's Brian, dude?
Yeah, not even an uncredited cameo from Vin Diesel as Dom Toretto was enough to garner excitement. And the reason that was in the film is because test audiences were like, where the hell is Dom?
Anybody else?
So they spent a shit ton of money to get Vin back to set for that.
Oh my God.
That's another story that Cody told me. Yeah, the amount of money that they would have paid him just to be in the movie initially, they paid more to get him for this cameo.
Dude, that's a fun phone call to get.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I just got to go to a parking garage and drive a car 8 feet.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
Sure. $20 million. All right.
I'll do that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's 20 million, but it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
The overarching feeling.
What are you talking about drifting? That's what he said. All right, what Tokyo Drift is like. Oh, man, things are all weird over here in Japan.
I love when Lucas Black comes back in the later movies and he's aged.
Yeah.
He does not look 24 anymore.
And they're like, yeah, you're going to be making a rocket car for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah.
Super bizarre.
Man, all y'all's fish ain't even cooked around here. The best line for that movie.
The overarching feeling was that while Tokyo Drift technically didn't lose money, the franchise was heading in the wrong direction, sideways.
Nice, dude.
Historically, franchises that have dropping profits combined with sinking reviews don't stick around too long. They end up in Hollywood purgatory, where they lie dormant for 3 decades before it's recreated for a modern audience and profit from a younger generation on a streaming service somewhere. Because in Hollywood, that passes for innovation.
The Fast and the Furious franchise to this point is an enigma. On one hand, it garnered millions of dollars and put the profiles of its stars and creators into a new stratosphere. On the other hand, it still had yet to establish the most important element of basic storytelling. What was the franchise really about? From the beginning, Cohen and Moritz saw a unique opportunity to explain to the world the well-observed details of an underground culture that most people would otherwise never encounter. But how much of the franchise at this point was even about that? As the pages of the scripts were filling up with story arcs involving dangerous crime syndicates, elaborate heists, and military-grade weapons, there was less room for cars and the interesting characters that drove them. And that's where we'll pick up next week with part 2 of our Fast and Furious saga.
Too Fast to Podcast.
Yeah, Too Fast, Too Gas.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah. Call a rewrite.
Yeah, that was a great story, man. I love it's always fun learning about this series.
Yeah.
And the inner workings of Hollywood.
And it really, like, we haven't done Fast and Furious stuff in a while, but reading it, like, so much came flooding back.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So check out the Skulls, Joshua Jackson.
Yeah, check out the Skulls. Go watch Friday Night Lights, the movie.
And Daylight.
Watch Daylight. Varsity Blues is a great movie.
Also watch Sunlight by Danny Boyle, because that movie
that movie
is so good.
Yeah.
All right. We got some fan mail this week.
want your life. Playing football at West Canaan High School may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
Hey, gents.
I don't want your life.
A longtime listener and fellow YouTuber here. I got an idea. An idea I've had for some time, ever since that first time I heard James, aka Kentucky Cobra, say "noise" after it, is anything and or everything that happened to cars and people making/racing developed them in 1969. Nice. Let me know what you think. Keep it juiced. That's Joe Saparo. Thank you, Joe, for your email. Everything in 1969
is nice. We say that because 69 means suck it.
Okay. Thank you for the suggestion. We'll look into that. If you want to hit up the show, hit us up at passgas@donutmedia.com. Let us know what you think. Whatever you want. Send it. Hey, thank you very much for listening to this show. Follow the boys at James Pumphrey, at Joe G. Weber. Follow me at Nolan J. Sykes. Thank you very much to our producers this week. We got Christina Felsky and Gavin Kinzel, and our writer, James Mastriani. Join us next week, will you? Leave a nice review. See you next time.
Yeah, and if you're offended by this Wisconsinite to my right, follow Minnesota Hates Joe Weber on Instagram.
Bring it.